welcome back to my channel. Today with a voiceover, something I don't do too often, but I recorded this footage, I think before all the madness started. I can't even remember when I recorded it, but I never edited it. I think there was a part in there I wasn't too happy about, I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, this was lurking around on my hard drive and not going anywhere. But since I wanted to show you every single section of the painting, of this painting when I'm working on it, this is the mystery diamond painting Rachel Rae gifted me, I never deleted the footage, I kept it, and I decided to do a voiceover today because I haven't given you a WIP Chat in ages. Like I said, can't even remember when the last one was. So let's try this voiceover thing. I have Lola here with me. She's on my lap, which is currently her most favorite place in the world, even though she prefers it on the couch. And she keeps me there for hours. And I don't kid you, it's hours. Once she has me, she doesn't let me go at all. Anyway, I have no idea how long I'll make this. I'll try to make it a long one because I haven't had one in a while, but it depends a bit on how much I actually can think of talking about. I have, as always, not planned this ahead at all, except for one story I promised Rachel yesterday I would tell on the WIP Chat. I mean, she already knows the story, but she only knows the written version, so maybe she wants to listen to me tell it, actually. So I'm going to do that, and I guess I'm going to try to talk a few random things that come to my mind. I mean, I am the queen of rambling, after all. Anyway, so like I mentioned, this is the mystery diamond painting Rachel gave me a long time ago now. It is from the Manhui factory store, I think it was, on Aliexpress. I have no idea what the image is. The boyfriend used to know, but he has long since forgotten because he was the one who flattened the canvas for me, so I didn't have a chance to peek at it. And today we're working on section number 3. In case you have forgotten, because it has been months, I have decided to only show one section at a time. So once I have completed the section, I will cover it back up again. That is this wonderful, pretty leopard print tape you see at the bottom there. That's a section we have already completed. So this way, this painting will be a total surprise to me and probably you as well once this is done and revealed, which is probably going to be in 3 years from now at the pace I'm going. My microphone is supposed to have great noise cancelling. If you hear something yowling in the background, that's Nelly, and my noise cancelling isn't so great after all. Also, my dryer is running. I hope you don't hear that either. Anyway, maybe let's start out with the elephant in the room because I haven't done any kind of WIP and chatty thing since this whole madness started, so I hope you are all doing well, you are coping well. I hope if you are not one of the essential workers that you had the opportunity to stay at home and not be put in danger. I know it's not always possible, and I know that in some countries, like the US, for example, this can actually mean losing your job right away, so I hope that didn't happen to you at all. And if it did, I seriously feel sorry, and I hope that the situation will resolve itself for you very soon, that you'll either find a new job or can return to your old one. I don't actually know how that works in other countries than mine. As far as my own situation goes, I have been working from home for I think 9 or 10 weeks now. I started staying home way earlier than most people because my partner happens to be in the medical profession, and I decided pretty much after infection rates started to rise here, which was end of February, that I would not go into the office and risk spreading something I could have without knowing. So this is also something I was a bit surprised about, that it seems it wasn't known in the beginning to a lot of people, but here in Germany they communicated pretty early that this thing could actually be asymptomatic, and that even yeah, Lola kicked me there. I'm going to speed this up, so you are probably going to hear that sentence at a very different point in the video, but I'm just looking at the footage where she knocked over my drill container. And I had to pick off drills my canvas. That was a fun moment. I remember that now. Um, anyway, what was I? Oh, they communicated pretty early on that it could be as asymptomatic, that you could have it and not notice it. So I was kind of surprised that this was not widely known. Anyway, that was the reason why I decided very early on that I would not go into the office until this was all resolved. I thankfully have the opportunity to work from home. I have been working from home at least 2 weeks, 2 days a week for, geez, I think it's been 12 years now. So I'm pretty much used to the system. I mean, I've never stayed in home office for a month and month on time without ever going into the office. That's new. But I feel like I had it easier to cope with the whole thing than a lot of other people, it seems. Um, Even a lot of other people I used to work with, and that surprised me a little bit. But I guess that's just how it is. I'm alone, or what can I say? So anyway, I've been working at home for a long time now. I'm doing well mentally. I don't really feel like this is impacting me in a negative way at all. I mean, um, of course, I also can't visit my family, and we haven't seen our friends in a long time. Um, but the not visiting family thing probably doesn't hit me so hard because we usually don't see them that often. So we are not yet quite at the point where I would say we haven't seen them so long we absolutely need to go now. Um, so yeah, I think mentally I'm still doing fine. Uh, the body is a bit of a different thing right now. I don't know if it's psychosomatic or what's going on, but I've been dealing with one issue after the other all of April, and now in May it's starting all over again. First it was allergies I never used to have. Then I had these headaches 2 weekends in a row. Now this week my shoulder is acting up. I am not entirely sure that this is not coming from my brain. Because I've also noticed that sometimes I have these out of body experiences where I don't actually feel like I'm part of this. I'm just watching from the outside, even watching myself from the outside. So it's all been very strange. So I feel like I'm all right mentally, but obviously something is different. Still haven't lost my humor though, and I think that's very important. Anyway, work-wise, things have not changed a whole lot, like I said, but they are maybe about to. My company is going through a not so great time right now, and they are discussing countermeasures. Um, I'm not entirely sure if this is a purely German thing to do, but here in Germany, when a company, it's mostly production companies, quite honestly, and I'm working for an IT service provider. But when a company runs into issues, like for example, automotive is very big here in Germany. We build a lot of cars. Um, and if there is an issue with a supply chain, for example, they have the possibility to request to put either all workers or a certain department of the company, or just, yeah, certain sites. If the company has different production locations, they are just going to put one location on something which is called short work, literally translated. It just means they shorten the work time. Every person who is in scope is working. This can be either 100%, 20, 40, 60, or 80. With a 5-day working week, you can do the math. And the government is going to pay some of the salary for the employees. So, for example, if they put you on 100% short hours, which means you are not working at all, um, then the government is going to pay 60 up to 67% of your after-tax salary. Depends on whether you have children or not. This is, of course, not an ideal situation, but it is a far better solution than being laid off. So during this corona crisis, they have actually softened the rules, how to apply for that and who can apply for that. And a lot of companies have, so the government has been swamped with um, requests for that. Our mother company has done so as well. But my company actually has been in trouble before this all happened. So this has been in discussions. I have now learned since last year, November. And now finally this month they have come to an agreement. The Workers' Council has found a solution with our leadership and they have communicated some of it now. There's going to be an information thing going to happen next week, Tuesday, I believe it was, and then we will probably be informed who will be in scope, and afterwards the managers are actually supposed to talk to the people who are in scope. First of all, I'm a bit surprised that they actually made the distinction people in scope and people not in scope. Because so far our Workers' Council, whenever they actually did agree to anything, one of their main condition was either all or no one. So I'm kind of surprised. But it also makes sense. So, for example, me personally, I mean, I'm not going to raise my hand. I'm not an idiot. But me personally, I'm currently not fully occupied at work. Um, I have once again changed jobs at the beginning of the year. I am now part of the project management team, and I am currently in one project that is winding down now. So that will be going down to 0 very soon. I expect this month actually. And I am in a new project that started a couple of weeks ago, which is a 50% demand. So again, you can do the math. And I might be in scope. I don't know yet. I have yet to be contacted by my manager. For the boyfriend, as I said, he's in the medical profession. If you have been with my channel for a while, you probably have heard this before. He is a physical therapist. Physical therapists were considered essential and never were um, basically allowed to close up. I mean, they couldn't force physical therapy practitioners to keep their offices open. But to be honest, they weren't eligible for any kind of support. I have learned, so they had to keep open, and my boyfriend's boss never thought about closing. For the longest time, they just had business as usual. People came in as usual. In the last few weeks, it has slowed down a little bit. And we actually had situations that he had working days that started like a normal person working day and ended like a normal person working day. So that was something very new for us. But at least there's not going to be any kind of corona-based separation in this household. I guess that wouldn't even happen if he had been home more because he is very well trained. He doesn't get on my nerves too much. I probably, on the other hand, sometimes go on his nerves very much. I'm not sure. He doesn't say, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, he is going to have a little less pay than usual, but once again, he is doing just fine. So we have been very fortunate, very lucky so far, and I hope if I try my best that I can send off some of that to you as well, because good vibes everywhere to everyone. Um, uh, do I know? No, I actually don't know anyone personally who had to deal with this whole virus situation. My family is fine, my friends are fine. Actually, the one person I was worried about the most and still am is my grandmother, who is not just 91 years old, she is also living in a home for the elderly care now. And that is actually something that worried me a lot, because once the virus was in one of these homes, it was very, very hard to actually keep the people safe. So it thankfully hasn't happened too often here, but it has happened, and I have been holding my breath and keeping my fingers crossed that it would not happen to her. But her home has actually been very good. They have, the moment they were allowed to, they shut down. They didn't let anyone who didn't need to be there in. Of course, that's hard for the people who live there. I do realize that. I know that my grandmother had a hard time in the last few weeks, because she's also actually one of the few people fortunate enough to have a lot of relatives visiting her. She is visited nearly every single day, so going from nearly 7 days a week with visitors to as close to zero as you can get. I know that is hard. So there were a lot of telephone calls in the last few weeks. Um, right now, they are discussing lifting some of the visitation restrictions. So they have, in the last couple of weeks, lifted a few of the restrictions. Like shops are going to open up again now. They have to follow very strict hygiene restrictions, though, and hair salons are allowed to open up again and all that fun stuff. So yeah, things are slowly opening up again. So far, I have to say I'm proud of how my country handled this whole thing. We have, as you might have seen, a very high number of infected people compared to a relatively low death rate, which is mostly due to the fact that we did an insane amount of testing from the moment this was starting here. So unlike a lot of other countries that mostly tested their sick people, we have done a very broad testing. So every time someone was reportedly sick, they tested every single person they could find who had contact with said person who had the infection and tested them. That's how these numbers started to happen, because I know that a lot of people have wondered about it. Um, our numbers seem to be very different from most countries. I haven't checked recently, but yeah, right now we are now down to one infected person is infecting 0.7 persons. So this is good. This is where you want to be. You want to be below one for that. That's what flattening the curve means, and which is why we are now slowly opening up again and lifting some of the restrictions. But also, we were already told the moment a certain number threshold was crossed, things would immediately shut down again. So I think we have that under control here, mostly, as far as you can. People have been mostly following the rules as well, which I'm very happy about. We also, like in a lot of other countries now, have these mandatory mask wearing rules in shops and on public transportation and stuff like that. I think kids in school. Some of them are back in school, not all of them. They have to wear it now, but they now discover that this is actually causing issues. The kids can't understand the teacher can't understand the kids. So I think they are trying to think of alternatives. And my employer is also planning to get a plan in place on how to at least get some of the people back into the office. I think they are aiming for May 18th. And what I've heard so far is that they are going to put people in groups, Group A and Group B, and Group A is allowed to come in 2 weeks, and then Group B is allowed to come in 2 weeks. This way, A and B should never meet outside of the 2 week incubation period. Yeah, something like that. On that note, I also already spoke to my direct manager and my actual boss. Those are two different people. And I told both of them, even if this is going to happen, I won't be back because the man. And I'm glad that everyone is understanding. They actually did not think of this, so I was kind of surprised that they actually got very quiet and then said, thank you, we never thought of this. We have to consider this in our plans. I'm not the only one, obviously, who is in a relationship with a person who has some kind of job that could be considered more dangerous than others. And this might sound very strange, but I had a coworker who mentioned when I said, yeah, I'm not going to be back anyway because my boyfriend is a physical therapist and touches people for a living. He then spoke up and said, you know what, my wife is a kindergarten teacher. So yeah, I think that person is also not going back to the office very soon. As you might know, kids, even though I think they hardly ever, if at all, get sick from the virus, but they are great carriers. So kindergarten teachers are pretty much petri dishes right now. So I think it's a good idea um, if people who are either married or in a relationship with someone who has such a profession, if they can stay at home, I think it's a good idea if they talk to their managers, bosses, whatever, and agree with them on what to do instead of risking a whole office of people again. So yeah, I guess my life in at least a few more in the next few more months to come will be home office with the cats. The cat who has, by the way, left me now and is sleeping in the same bed you saw in the beginning. Oh yes, that's actually something I wanted to ask you. I decided to put this little video of Lola, which I took in the middle of working on this section, actually, at the front, at the beginning of the video. I don't know, did you enjoy that? I know it's just a bit of an intro, but I realized I only have this very short graphic intro that usually doesn't have any music or anything there, and I know a lot of people have these very fancy intro things in the beginning of the videos, and I never bothered. I also have been informed that I probably should make more clickbaity intro graphics. It's not my jam, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I know those attract views, but I just can't do it. Mm, mm. So that is not going to happen. But I was wondering if you would like to see a short clip of the cats or whatever I can think of in the beginning of these videos, which once again I'm planning to do more often, but how many times have I done that now? Planned to do them more often and always failed. Mm. Taking a sip of coffee because it's not boiling hot any longer. Let me know and I'll try to remember to take a few clips of them. Maybe I will even catch Nelly sometimes. She's very camera shy, so I'm not promising anything, but I'm going to try if you would like to. I'm also not sure if I will always be trying to be witty with the texts I put in there. I've done that twice now. If you watch my floss tubes, you know that I put in a clip of me making coffee in front of the last one. Yeah, super interesting, I know. But I personally enjoy these. I don't know why. It's super mundane, but I love if people put a little clip of their pets or just making coffee or for example this one lovely lady I follow on FlossTube, off the grids needle arts, Caroline. She always puts clips of her dog Luna or of her magnolia tree. Right now she has a magnificent magnolia tree in front of her house. It's so beautiful and it just started to bloom. And I always enjoy these, so I was thinking about it. So let me know. That was long. Okay. So the cats are doing fine. I know you always wonder about them. I mean, you see Lola all the time. I was going on about how Nelly is hard to catch on camera, wasn't I? You know, I'm super scatterbrained. That's my profession. So yeah, she's very hard to catch on camera, and if you catch her on camera, it's mostly asleep. So I don't know how interesting that will be, but I might still have this clip I took for Christina. If you remember, Christina sent me a package last year, and Christina from Rainy Day Diamonds, that is, and she put in some things for the cats, and it was these catnip toys, the macarons. We still have one of them. Two sadly have gone the way cats' toys go. I have no freaking idea where cat toys go, but they go somewhere. And it can't be under my couch because my couch goes down to the floor. There's no space between the floor and my couch. So I have no idea where these things go, but they go somewhere. So two of them have now vanished. I still have the third one. But they both loved this toy. And I know I took a clip of Nelly where she went completely nuts. I think I still have that somewhere. I might dig that up. So anyway, are we done with the cat thing now? Probably not. Um, what else? So I talked about work. So maybe I might have more time on my hands very soon. But actually, after the first few things I heard, I'm not entirely sure. Um, so the rule is if you want to go on short work, you have to have at least proof that 10% of your total employee number um, isn't fully occupied, and this is hurting your company result. And that means for us, it's about 120, I believe, at the current time. I think we are now at 1,200 employees. And supposedly we have reached those numbers, and we supposedly have also reached the number for the region Southwest. So our company is split into regions. We have North, East. I think North and East are one. Yeah, I think so. We have West, South, South, East. South is a very hard word for me, I just realized. And we have Middle. And here in Southwest, we have officially 84 employees. And supposedly, from these 84 employees, 10 will be put on short work, and 8 of them are managers. So apparently the agreement was that all managers have to do it, no matter what. That's odd. And there are only going to be 2 regular employees who are currently on the list. So I'm not sure if I believe that. I think there might be more. They are probably now checking again. Um, but I will probably hear about it until next week, end of next week. Well, I hope I do, because starting May 18th, I'm on a week-long vacation, staying at home. But I never planned to go anywhere, so that's just fine with me. Mm. So maybe if I have more time on hand, I might get my poop together after all and get back on the video train, because yes, I'm very sorry. It's this combination of not feeling well recently and also running out of ideas what to do, because I am currently not buying anything diamond painting related at all. I'm also not buying from DAC right now or any other company because I have so many diamond paintings. I have to get some done first. On the other hand, I am currently not diamond painting as much as I used to. So slashing the stash is going much slower than it would have gone last year, for example. Last year, I think I did an average of 3 to 4 paintings a month, all sizes, not just big ones. This year, so far, mm, 1.5 maybe. Um, yeah, I've been painting a lot less, um, and I'm not seeing picking up anytime soon. So another thing I'm again going to apologize for, because I know that a lot of you, the majority of you, actually are here for the diamond painting, or at least initially were here for the diamond painting. And I know I have been heavily shifting into cross-stitching recently. You have seen it on my Instagram if you follow that. I constantly forget posting my diamond painting progress, and I think for March I already just did one post for the whole painting I finished, and it's probably going to happen for the April painting again, because I haven't posted that one at all. This is just yeah. And I'm sorry for that. I'm also sorry if you're not interested at all in the cross-stitching or even the knitting, which is another thing I'm right now getting really into, and I never thought I would be able to knit, quite honestly, because I've tried so many times and I never managed it. And I recently learned I can do pretty much everything I can learn from YouTube, because that's where I am learning my knitting. So yeah, crazy new world. I have to say, I have always cycled in my crafting, and I I reached a deep funk in 2018. That's when I started diamond painting, because my diamond painting pretty much started out as a craft. It's not a hard word, Heike. It's not a hard word. Um, as a craft that didn't require me thinking. And on top of that, it was sparkly and shiny, something I've always loved. So it was not the plan to become a just diamond painting crafter, but I did for all of 2018, when after I started in the summer, and pretty much all of 2019 as well. And I still love it, don't get me wrong. I'm just right now feeling ready to do something more involved again, and I am absolutely loving the cross stitch. So I know that's not everyone's jam, but I hope you will stay with me anyway. I'm still trying to put out diamond painting content. It's just going to be less because I don't have a whole lot of unboxings. I still have a few left that I need to edit and upload. Um, I think they are all DAC though, so I'm sorry if you don't like to see those. I have literally purchased nothing else this year except for DAC. I think I haven't even purchased a diamond shop yet this year. Have I? Oh geez. I tried to purchase Dreamer Designs when they had their 2.0 relaunch, um, but quite frankly, I did not like most of the new canvases. You know, I'm not a big landscape person, so while I absolutely think Jack Pinson and how they are all called, they are beautiful, I don't want to do them. They are not tempting to me at all. So if a diamond painting company would please just put all the landscapes in their shops and nothing else, I would be safe. But yeah, and the one thing I liked were these very colorful animal paintings. I've forgotten the artist's name. Sarah Turbin, is it? I'm not entirely sure, but I think she's a Sarah. So I liked those, but not enough to pay $25 shipping for two of those paintings. You know what I mean? So what I initially had hoped for was to get some of the 1.0 releases because there were a few paintings in there I liked very much. I liked the Ajatria paintings, so I was hoping for those. I know they have come back now for a limited time. That's when I tried to order the second time. I went on the webpage and I picked out one of the old, they were not all back, one of the older paintings. I think it was Grumpy Cat I picked out. And then I decided to purchase one of the Sarah something paintings. And when I tried to check out, I suddenly couldn't because for whatever reason shipping to Germany wasn't possible. That was before they officially communicated that they had to stop to do international shipping except for what they did before they opened up to everyone. So yeah, second attempt failed. In all honesty, I did also not contact customer service and check if it was something that could be solved. Sometimes a snafu like that is all I need to rethink if I want to spend the money, and I did that and decided no, I'm not going to spend the money because I have over 100 diamond paintings in my stash I haven't done yet. Yes, you heard that correctly. Half of those are DAC. So I thought better of it and decided against purchasing it. And when I was back at the point where I thought, you might still want to try after all, because once I have decided something, I never waver, obviously. They sent out the communication that they had to cease shipping to anywhere except US, Canada, and UK, I think it is. So yeah, again, not going to order from them, I guess. Somehow fate is against me as far as Druma design goes. And I am curious because I have heard very good things about their drill quality. Me personally, when I look at the canvases, I'm not sure. I think they are still too bright, still too colorful. You know, the saturation is still completely overdone, but people seem to be very happy, so I would like to make up my own opinion, I guess. But it is probably going to happen sometime, just not 2020 again. We'll see. So yeah, and there aren't a whole lot of companies I'm currently really interested in. So I'm sorry to say that. So I'm slowly but surely running out of things to post. I mean, I will probably still have one final review per month. I will have the diamond painting theme of the month because I enjoy that very much, and this is it seems to take off a little bit now because people are actually sending me pictures via email and using the hashtag on Instagram. So I am of course going to keep doing that, but that's literally 2 videos a month. Um, and I will try to keep up with the WIP chats. That is something I could do at least once a week if I have the recording and the editing time, which is not always the case. But that's it. You know, I don't want to rehash every tutorial that has been done by pretty much everyone out there who does diamond painting videos, or I don't know. If you have any ideas or anything you would like to see me do as far as a tutorial goes or anything. I mean, if there's something you absolutely want to see done once again by me, I'm open to do it, but otherwise, yep. So that's why I'm probably moving over to a 50-50 kind of thing soon. I'm not entirely sure. Bottom line is I'm running out of ideas. And I'm not buying stuff just for buying stuff. So, yeah, that's where we are. So anyway, if you're interested, there's going to be much more stitching related stuff, and I have a feeling much more knitting related stuff as well, because I, as I said, don't seem to be too dumb to do it after all, which, believe me, surprised the heck out of me. Yeah, that's probably mostly the segment you could call channel plans, if that is actually a plan. So I guess I should move on to what will be the last part of this WIP Chat, because I will have to stop in a few minutes here and start getting dinner ready. The boyfriend is nearly home now. And speaking of dinner and the boyfriend, boy, that is a segue I actually did not plan for. The story. It's potato related, believe it or not. And potatoes and diamond painting seems to go hand in hand. If you've been with the bigger creators for a while, you probably have seen that before. Mrs. Coffee's husband, Mr. Coffee, is a big potato lover. He loves them. And he and I think Gone Off My Mats were the ones who came up with the great potato famine. I think it was this book she read. I'm not entirely sure. And he picked that up. So that was a long potato-related saga. And then there was Jen from, I have no idea what her channel is now called. I think it's Diamond Painting Adventures with Jen? Jennifer Roberts, anyway, I think is her name. She told the story of the flying potato. So when she was pregnant, she threw a potato against the wall because it had onions on it, which was the most hilarious story I had heard in a while, even though I just very badly recapped it. So that brings us to potato story number 3, which happens to be from my own household. So I mentioned in the beginning that Lola's current favorite place is my lap, and preferably on the couch. The moment I sit down on the couch, I am done for, because she will come, she will sit down, and she will not leave. And I kid you not, on the weekend before last, I think it was, or it might have been last weekend, she lay down on me and didn't get up for 3 hours. And when she did get up, she didn't get up of her own volition. It was because I called the boyfriend and begged him to free me. For one, my leg was dead, and I had to use the bathroom. So yeah, that's what's happening when she's lying down on me. So it happened this one evening. I was totally not up for making dinner, didn't want it. I was happy to have Lola on my lap. I was actually also not very hungry, but suddenly I had this very sad-faced boyfriend standing in front of me. He was very hungry and he wanted dinner. So I told him, you know what, I had planned a very easy dinner for that night. I am currently doing meal planning, which is also something I've never done because we only go shopping once a week. And during that shopping trip, we buy everything. That might be normal for most people. It never was for us because our apartment complex has a little supermarket. And we live right above that, so usually we would buy stuff we thought looked good on our grocery day, and throughout the week we would make several trips down there because we didn't plan ahead, didn't know what to cook, and had to get inspired. So we're not doing that any longer. I'm planning 7 meals, and we are buying everything for those 7 meals in one go. So I plan at least 2 very easy, quick to do, actually not really cooking, more reheating type of meals. So for that evening it was potatoes, spinach, and fish. Can be fish fingers, can be bigger pieces, something you put in the oven. Something you put in the oven and don't have any work with. The spinach is usually also frozen. You put it in a pot, put it on low temperature, keep that in mind, and just let it thaw. The only real work you have is peeling and cooking the potatoes. So I told him, you know what, why don't you do it? I really don't feel like I want to get up right now and disturb her. She's happy where she is. I'm a good cat mom. You go and make this super easy dinner. Yeah, I probably should have taken the frightened expression seriously, but he went off and he started dinner. What I didn't realize is if you make this kind of dinner, there is a certain order you should do things in. And this order is start with the frozen stuff. It's logical to me. So when I do this, the first thing I do is I put a pot on the stove. I pull out the spinach. I put the spinach in this pot, and I put the stove on the lowest heat to slowly thaw that stuff out, because it doesn't actually have to be cooked. It just has to be heated. It's cooked and then frozen. So no brainer. Yeah. Step number 2 is preheat the oven for the fish. And then I start peeling and cutting the potatoes to cook them. Unbeknownst to me, he had started the other way around, so he completely ignored the spinach, he completely ignored the fish, he started peeling the potatoes. So I guess about 15 minutes after he started, he came back into the living room and asked me, how long do these potatoes need to cook? I thought, did he seriously ask you that just now? I was so tempted to say until they are done, because that's how I cook. If he makes dried pasta, he actually sets a timer for the time that's printed on the back. If I cook pasta, I put it in the pot when the water is boiling. I stir it a minute later, or it will stick to the bottom of the pot, and I will come back every few minutes to stir it again. And when I'm stirring, I'm looking at how the pasta looks, and at a certain point, I'm sure it could be done, and then I try. That's not how he cooks. I mean, I've now educated him far enough that he doesn't just drain them once the time is up, because he has learned the hard way that just because the packaging says 9 minutes doesn't mean that they are done after 9 minutes. So yeah, that's how I cook. I check if it's done. I don't actually follow time suggestions on stuff like rice, pasta, whatever. Alright, so I must have looked at him very funny because he frowned at me and I said, honey, I can't tell you. That depends totally on how small or big you cut them. And then he said to me, well, about half an inch circle, half an inch cubes. I thought, why go through all that work? But all right. And then I said, well, you have to put them on, you have to cook them, and you have to check once they are done. I can't give you a minute count to say, after 10 minutes they are done. It depends on the size of the cubes, it depends on the type of potato you are cooking, all the different things. So yeah, he went back to the kitchen, so looking and sounding unhappy. That's when I asked, did you put the spinach on? And then quiet. I thought, oh God, no. Of course he hadn't. He hadn't realized that the spinach wouldn't thaw within 5 minutes. So he put the spinach on. And then I asked, but have you at least preheated the oven? That takes 15 minutes. And then you have to put the fish in, which in that case took another, I think, 18 minutes. Potatoes don't need to boil for over half an hour. Not if you cut them in 1-inch cubes. So yeah, he of course also hadn't done that. So told him, yep, kill the heat under the potatoes, wait a bit. And yeah, then Lola decided, okay, mom is tense for whatever reason, I better get up. I went into the kitchen, and what do I see there? He put the spinach in the pot, but he put it on full heat. Why are men so dumb? This is literally the easiest type of dinner you can do. And he botched that. And I should mention, that guy one Christmas decided he was going to cook this Christmas. He went through my cookbook collection of, I think it was Jamie Oliver, could have been even Gordon Ramsay, but I think it was Jamie Oliver. He decided he was going to make a beef Wellington from scratch, except for the pastry that was bought. But look it up. Look it up. And it was freaking perfect. So how can a person who can make a beef Wellington be too inept to defrost a block of spinach, make fish in the oven, and boil a pot of potato in the correct order, correct way, without detailed instructions from the wife? I was flabbergasted. But the problem is, he keeps saying, well, I don't know how to cook, and how am I supposed to learn? Well, the same way everyone else is. I mean, some people are fortunate enough that they have a mom or a grandmother or a dad or a grandfather who teaches them to cook, but a lot of us don't. And how do we learn? Trial and error and books and magazines. Maybe these days YouTube, I don't know. But we try, and yes, sometimes things have to go in the bin. That's life, Tina. It happens. I mean, it's not fun if it happens, but it does. So yeah, that was an experience. And I don't know if it's actually as funny as it was for Rachel when I told her that, or my mom when I told her that, but if it was, you're welcome. I have a feeling he's not going to cook anytime soon again. Hmm. And I would teach him, it's not a problem, but he's actually not willing to do it. So that's always something I tell my mom, because my father's actually more of the cook in the family, though he is a very convenience-heavy cook, always has been. That's why I wasn't taught by my parents. I taught myself because I didn't want to use all that convenience stuff. And so she's constantly complaining about the fact that he's always cooking at lunchtime and always has something ready to eat, because she actually doesn't want to eat it. Um, but I don't know where the problem is. I would just tell him, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not hungry. Stop. Ask me first. She claims that he's unreasonable, but I don't know. I have a feeling there's just no communication going on. He's not listening to her. She's not talking to him. What can I do? I just keep telling her I would be so happy if I had a partner who every once in a while would cook something for me and take that off my shoulder, because while I enjoy cooking well enough, I really, really don't want to do it every day after 8+ hours of work. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind. But I have a feeling it's not going to happen. Anyway, this is nearly an hour long. That is actually longer than I thought I would be able to go. Kind of happy about that. I am not going to go back and listen to this again, so I hope I didn't stumble over my words too much. I know I often confuse words, and if I catch that, I usually put a little text in and correct myself. It's probably not needed, because a lot of times you probably know what I meant. I just like to do it because it's the polite thing to do. But I'm not going to do it today, because I actually want to upload this right now, so you can enjoy it hopefully in 3 to 4 hours from now. Alright guys, well, the one editing I have to do, I have to try to get the video to the same to the fitting speed for this voiceover, because the video is actually nearly an hour longer than my voiceover. and then I'm going to render and upload this, and I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think about this little intro video in the beginning if you would like to see more of that, and I will do my best to catch some cute kitty footage or anything else you might be interested in. Just please don't say you, because I have explained in my first FlossTube video, I think it was, that I am still reluctant to put my face on camera due to work reasons. I don't want to give any ammunition to my HR department, which probably speaks volumes about what I think about my mothership. Not much. Shocker. Anyway, I'm going to let you go now. I think an hour is actually a pretty good mark to leave that off. Oh, and so Rachel challenged me to challenge you to add your own potato story so we can make a diamond painting potato watch list for anyone who might be interested in potato stuff. I don't know if you're actually interested in doing that, but I guess I could challenge you to put out your own WIP Chat and make it an hour, because we are still mostly at home. We still have a lot of time and we need videos to listen to and watch. So here you go. Alright guys, I will let you go now for real. I've said that before, but I'm going to do it now. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you stay safe, you stay healthy, and yeah, all the best to you and your family, and I should be back by tomorrow with the next FlossTube. Alright guys, bye bye.